kind of getting ready to wrap this up. I'm just going to start by just, kind of sharing a story kind of about my experience with the healthcare system. A little bit more than a year ago, my wife was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she went through a 6-week battle trying to do chemo and all that stuff to win that battle. And unfortunately, she didn't. One night on Wednesday night, she was rushed to the emergency room, and through all their diagnostic support, they decided that she needed to be in hospice and that all treatments were going to stop. And we had, 4 to 6 weeks left to go. The next morning, I leave the hospital. Next morning, I go to the hospital to see my wife. I was told because of COVID protocols and they had rules on who could see what visiting hours would be, that they were going to extend my hours. I pretty much had carte blanche access to go see my wife at any point in time. So I get to the hospital. It's probably the worst day of my life. And I go to the front desk to go see my wife. The computer systems were down. I sat in that lobby for 45 minutes while my wife's upstairs been, put into hospice, just growing angrier and angrier and more frustrated with the whole situation. So we got to take, when we're thinking about the patient experiences, about that there is a human element that happens with every one of these. When some people are in the hospital, that's the last place on work in the world they want to be at that moment, right? And as we design these solutions, we got to consider that's what we have to make better, right? We have to make the experience for my wife who's being treated, who's going into hospice, going through this transition. We have to make that comfortable. We have to make for the people that are supporting her in that journey more possible. We can do this with technology. And it starts with the basics for making sure the equipment that we have in place today runs and it performs well. We can also change the nature of what we're doing. And I fundamentally believe if we start thinking about healthcare and how we deliver a patient experience, I believe that if we shift our perspective on that, we will get better outcomes for everyone involved in the process. I do think there's a lot changing from the way patients expect, what the payers are willing to do, what's happening around crisis situations like COVID and security and all those kind of things, that we have to be mindful of this and be able to adjust and be more agile in how we think about the solutions that we're putting in place. Then last but not least, it's not this, technology for the sake of technology. It's really putting in solutions that can be adopted easily, well, that are seamless, that allow our users, our patients, so no matter where they are, to be able to kind of connect with this and go from there.